All right, so we recorded some audio to be able to check this out. This stuff, this example is really designed to sort of highlight the benefits of the harmonic coloration and distortion that you can get from the UnderTone pre's. So a little bit about the test setup. You know, we captured stuff into the computer as clean as we could get it, and then came out of the computer back through mic preamps where we could then capture all the different settings. So we're always using the same source material. The UnderTone mic preamps, when you set it at -20 and use the -20 dB pad, it's basically a unity gain device. It's basically like a line input. So it's a really easy way to sort of run things back through and be able to try all this stuff. And then we always have the exact same performance for everything that we're comparing, which I think is important when you're trying to A/B stuff like this. So here it is, and for some reason, whenever I have to come up with something on the spot for audio examples, it either ends up sounding like Led Zeppelin or 70s cop music. So here you go. Here's my 70s cop music for this one. Okay, so this has basically all of as much coloration. Well, it's in the mode where you can get as much coloration as you want. So there's a lot going on. I have both transformers turned on, I have the load switch turned on, and I have the output pad turned on, so I can just crank the mic pre as much as I want. It'll never clip in the computer and just get as much distortion as I want out of the mic pre. So then what we did is recorded a pass where we turned off the output pads and turned the mic gain down 10 dB, so you can just hear the difference of when all these signals get, you know, pulled back away from that range where they're clipping and stuff. So here it is without all the extra coloration. And so, you know, immediately you can really hear the difference in the transients in the drums. And with this example, like the compression settings and stuff were really designed to accommodate the version that was more distorted. And so, you know, the undistorted one, you hear it get, the compressors don't really react right. You lose that high-end energy that you get with harmonic distortion, you know, because all of these harmonic overtones are being added to sort of fill in those upper harmonics and make things sound more harmonically balanced. So you can really hear that difference between the transients and all the coloration, and then when it's not distorted, things don't blend as well and things don't sit as comfortably. You get that sort of awkward mid-range kind of sticking out. So I'll play it one more time and just switch back and forth between them. So this is distorted. Without the coloration. Back with the coloration. Without. Cool, so we should check out a couple of the individual elements, and you can really see what's going on, especially on the drums. That's where a lot of this is really noticeable. So there's like a main sort of drum kit mic, a main mic on you know, right in front of the drum kit, and you can see in the waveform that it's really quite distorted. There's a lot of clipping going on in the initial hit there. So check out what that sounds like. And then here it is without it. Back with it. So you really hear that difference in the transient there. Snare drums, very similar thing. You can again see the amount of distortion that's being added. It's just fully clipping on both sides of the waveform. you know. So there it is with the coloration. There it is without. It's a big difference. There it is with it. Cool, and it was also, you know, really flattering on one of these guitars, like this guy. And then without it. And for me, with the coloration, you know, I hear more of that high-end energy in the sound that just makes it feel more immediate, like it's coming out of the front of the speaker. And without the coloration, it just has that kind of, you know, awkward mid-range and doesn't have the same presence when you try and blend it with other stuff. It's you know, it's harder to find the right spot for it in the mix. So I'll switch right between them. Here it is with the coloration again. Here it is without. So, you know, it's a really good example of how distortion can make things a lot more musical. There's a huge amount of distortion on these tracks, and you know, when you listen to all this stuff blended together, I don't really think like, hey, wow, that's really distorted. I think that feels great. You know, it's just a lot more comfortable to listen to. It's a much more familiar sound to me. I mean, I love the sound of recordings from the 50s and 60s and 70s, and you know, they were struggling to minimize this stuff, and now we have the luxury of having none at all if we want. And so it's really about being able to make the choices of when you want it and when you don't want it. For something like this, I think it you know, it makes it much, much, much more musical sounding. So there you go, the importance of distortion in recording.